Welcome to the China Marketing Podcast, the place to go to hear in-depth conversations with industry experts, influencers, and Chinese consumers about the latest consumer, product, and marketing trends in China. Each week, we aim to bring you tactical and thought-provoking content that will help you grow your business in China. The China Marketing Podcast is part of the Sinica Podcast Network, powered by SupChina. I'm your host, Lauren Hallinan. E-commerce live streaming was already one of the biggest marketing and commerce trends of 2019. And then the coronavirus happened. And now we can say that in 2020, e-commerce live streaming has truly gone mainstream in China. As a former live streaming host, I'm loving it. If you want to hear more about that, more about my story, you can go back to episode 0 of the podcast, where I share my experience as what I would call an entertainment live streamer in China. Unfortunately, I was too early for the e-commerce live streaming phenomenon. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Lately, everywhere I turn, it seems like there's an announcement about some platform launching live streaming or adding new live streaming features. And Taobao live streamers Austin Li and Viya have become household names in China, especially after Viya recently sold a rocket during a live stream. Yes, you heard right. She sold an actual rocket in her live stream. If you've ever watched an e-commerce live stream, you may think that being a host is easy, but actually it's much harder than you think. The top hosts are excellent salespeople, using specific tactics to engage and persuade their audiences. They are very careful about what they say and how they say it. Yet the phrases they use aren't the same as a regular salesperson. In fact, if you're new to e-commerce live streaming, even if your Chinese level is high, you may think that some of the things they say are odd or don't make sense. But that's because e-commerce live streamers and their audience have developed their own set of slang. So just what are some of these phrases? Well, you're in luck, because today my assistant and regular guest Kejie and I are going to break down the top 16 phrases that Chinese live streamers use to engage their audience and drive sales. Let's dive in. Hi, Kejie. Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while.
I'm happy to be back.
So you were recently in quarantine for a couple of weeks because you went back to China. And I'm just curious, did you watch any live streams while you were in quarantine?
Yes, I was in quarantine like just a few days ago, and now I have finished it. So during my quarantine, I did watch several live streams, and then one of them is from teacher Xu. 深夜徐老师. So, because she did a live streaming before on Women's Day, and that live streaming she did very well. She received quite good response. And then she ranked the top 3 live streamers on Taobao ranking that evening. And then this time, during my quarantine, she had her second and third live streaming. So I watched the third one, which is about snack, which is about food. So I watch it, and it really makes me want to buy those snacks because it's quite pushy, and she's keep tasting different snacks and saying, wow, this is really good. And yeah, they just look so delicious in her live streaming.
I bet you also, I bet it was really difficult for you too, since you were stuck in quarantine. You were probably dreaming about all this food.
Yeah. But, I can still make the, order them online, but it just need time to deliver it to my hotel. So I gave up.
Gotcha. That's interesting too, because she, just for anybody that doesn't know, she's a big KOL on WeChat. I mean, she has a following on other platforms too, but I think one of her big followings is on WeChat, right?
Yes. WeChat will be her biggest traffic pool, and then I think she's also working on Weibo.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting because a lot of times people are like, there are a lot of KOLs, especially WeChat KOLs, who a lot of their content is really, like writing articles or doing pre-recorded videos. A lot of them aren't that great at doing live streams. So I think it's really interesting when somebody like her can do a live stream and have such good results, because a lot of them really don't know how to host a live stream.
Yeah, I think Fiona Xu or Teacher Xu is one of the top KOLs that did live streaming first. And then in this week I can see other followers other KOLs are doing the same thing as her. So she might be the pioneer of among fashion KOLs.
Have you seen? You said you've seen some other fashion KOLs who are live streaming. Like who?
大嫂, her WeChat account is 原来是西门大嫂. And then I also see a beauty blogger is called MK Liang Liang. She's a beauty blogger.
Were they all live streaming on Taobao or were they live streaming on WeChat too?
They did live streaming on Taobao. Yeah.
I think that's interesting because, WeChat has started to have the live streaming function. And I think, there have been a lot of brands trying it out, but that's interesting that some of these big WeChat KOLs are still choosing to go to Taobao and do live streaming on Taobao instead of on WeChat.
Yeah, after all, Taobao is a more mature platform.
Yeah, that's true. And probably, I guess maybe depending on the products that they're selling too, maybe it's easier to sell from Taobao instead of WeChat. Maybe that's part of the reason as well. Yeah. But yeah, that's really interesting. Did you buy anything from any of the live streams that you watched?
No. But when I watch vlog or like makeup tutorials, I will buy stuff, but not live streaming, not now.
You were able to control yourself.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like your friends and family have been watching more live streams as well during this coronavirus period, like in comparison to maybe last year?
Yes, they sure did, but not my family because they don't watch live streaming. But my friends, they obviously did because like during the coronavirus, they just get bored. They're quarantined at home and people are happy to try new things. Like some people, they tried cooking and some people learn how to dance and some people like watch live streaming because they are bored. So I think they definitely watch more live streaming than ever.
There's been a huge uptick. What I think is interesting right now is that it's, here now the coronavirus has really hit the US and, whereas like when the coronavirus hit China, a lot of companies turned to live streaming to sell products because people had more time, like you said, to watch live streaming. Here in the US, I see it's crazy. Like literally every KOL is now on TikTok. Which is, the same as Douyin in China. Like so many of the KOLs they never wanted to try TikTok. And now that the virus has hit, they're all so bored and everybody is on TikTok. Like everyone is like, follow me on TikTok. And they're like sharing their TikTok. Like all these fashion bloggers, like everybody's on TikTok now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it's such a pity because none of Instagram, none of the big companies are really well set up for e-commerce live streaming here in the US right now. So most people are going to TikTok, but then I also see a lot more people using Instagram Live. Like every time, like usually if I go on Instagram, maybe occasionally I see somebody doing a live, but it's not a lot. And now a lot of times I go on Instagram and I see like 2 or 3 people at least doing live stream or like while I'm scrolling through through Instagram, I get like a notification that somebody started to go live, like people are using the live streaming function a lot more, but they're not using it to sell things because it doesn't have that feature. It's like, I mean, it's been crazy the effect that the coronavirus has had on the Chinese e-commerce live streaming industry, but it's not going to be able to have the same effect over here just because like none of the platforms are set up for it.
But I think it's just a matter of time. They might add this function to it later. But,
yeah, especially if things keep going the way that they're going now, people might really need it soon.
Yes.
Okay, so kind of what we were going back to, going back to what we were saying just then, how you watched Xu Laoshi do her live stream, and I was saying it's not easy for a WeChat KOL to do a live stream because they're not used to live streaming. And for somebody that's not familiar with e-commerce live streaming, they might think that's a really weird thing to say, because when you watch an e-commerce live stream, a lot of times it looks pretty easy. Like they're just sitting there, like in front of the camera, and they just seem to be like saying all these good things about products and trying them on. And like, it doesn't really seem like it's that hard, but actually there's a lot of technique. The streamers, like the really big ones like Viya and Austin, like they have, a lot of special phrases that they use, special ways that they describe things. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is this really fun article that I found that shares the top 16 phrases that Chinese live streamers use to engage their audience and to drive sales. When you read this article, did you like recognize a lot of the phrases?
Yes, like for example, like type 1 in the comment area, or like time to stop chatting, let's first have a lucky draw. These are very familiar terms in live streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think some of the ones I was super familiar with, and then there were a couple of other ones where I was like, oh, like I've heard that before, but I hadn't really, like, I think I really wanted to have this podcast about this topic, because after I read it, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard them say that, but I never really maybe thought about why they said that, or like, I think it's really interesting to hear kind of the psychology behind it, like why are they saying these phrases? Like it's not just, they're not just saying this random thing. Like it's like, when a salesperson has specific ways that they talk to the potential customer, like the live streamers have these special phrases that they use at certain times to really engage the audience or to convince them to buy something. So I think that, for any brands that are like interested in live streaming, or just anybody who wants to understand e-commerce live streaming better, I think they'll find these phrases to be super interesting. So let's get right into them, since there's a lot of them. This article has divided the phrases into 3 categories. So the first category is phrases that are used to warm up the audience and to kick off the stream, to get things going, get people engaged with the stream. So why don't we start with the first one? So what's the first one?
The first one in Chinese is 扣一, and then it means type 1 in the comment area.
To type 1 in the comment area, when do they use this phrase? Like what does this mean? Okay,
so this is often used when a live streaming just begin. And because usually when a live streaming just begin, like audience, they are not that active. They are not participated in this live streaming. And to warm up the atmosphere, live streamer usually asks their audience to type 1 or type anything else in the comment area to show that to show that they can listen to what the live streamer is talking to, and they can see the live streamer.
In some ways, it's kind of like when, like a mic check, when somebody's like, check 1, 2, 3, like they're checking to make sure that their audio is working, that everything's working, because they're like, if you hear this, press like type 1. But I also think it's really interesting because it's also a good way for the streamer to see, like, okay, are they actually listening? Are they actually like paying attention to me? And it gets, like you said, like at the beginning of the stream, maybe somebody goes into the stream, but if the streamer hasn't started sharing anything yet, they don't really have anything to say. So this is a way to get people to, like, okay, find where the comment section is, like send something really easy. Like it gets them, it's like, it gets them, like, once they've sent one comment, then they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll send some more comments or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes some naughty audience, they will type 2 instead of 1, but it's just to show that they like this live streamer a lot. They just want to play with the live streamer.
So, just joking around, disobeying, rebelling against the streamer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that one's probably pretty easy for people to understand. What about the next one? Can you share the next one?
The next one is, 插总来骗毛肚. So, in English, it means president or chairman. Let's have a piece of beef tripe.
It's which sounds really weird. Like it sounds, this one's a little weird for people that maybe don't know what it means. It's like, president or chairman, like whatever the person's last name is, and then have a piece of beef tripe, which is like a really, so can you explain what exactly does this mean?
Yeah, but like actually this term or this sentence I know this term or this sentence when I saw the article, like for the first time. So this is originated from a recent live streaming that a few chairmen or a few presidents, they did a live streaming about having hot pot, and then audience asked them to have a piece of beef tripe. So they need to eat a piece of beef tripe instead of 2, and they cannot eat other meat as well. So they basically need to do what audience tell them to do. This term is being used in usually in a food or a restaurant live streaming, that when audience want the live streamer to taste the snack or the food that they like, they will usually say, okay, President Xi or President or Chairman Huang, have a piece of blah blah blah. Yeah, like this.
And it, like you said, it kind of essentially it means that the live streamer has to do what the audience is asking. It's like this set phrase that the audience uses to kind of pick and choose what the live streamer should do.
Yes, even if they are president or chairman.
Right. Like, I guess that's kind of the maybe why this one caught on, is because, there was like a really important person, a leader of a company, and then the audience still got to decide what kind of food they ate.
Yeah, the magic about live streaming.
This one I hadn't heard of with this one before, but it's probably because I don't watch too many food streams, so I don't think I've seen anybody using this one before. I think the next one I think is super interesting. So can you share what the next one is?
Yeah, the next one is 叉叉叉的粉丝在不在? So in English, it means that which celebrities fans here?
Are Kim Kardashian's fans here? Like for example, maybe when Viya sold Kim Kardashian's perfume she might have used this phrase, like, are Kim's fans here? Are KK's fans here, right? And so could you explain what this one means?
The celebrity here is the ambassador or the spokesperson for the brand, and live streamer will use the celebrity's popularity to cheer up their audience to get them excited. So they may leave comments in the comment area. They will like the atmosphere will get warm up and more interactions there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like letting them know, like, I'm about to talk about something from your favorite celebrity. So it like gets all the fans excited, like lets the fans know that, you know, it's kind of time for them to pay attention. And yeah, like you said, it gets them really excited to see what product they're going to promote. And, yeah, I think that one's pretty common. I think I've heard Austin Li say that before.
Yes.
Let's do the next one. You said that this one you're definitely familiar with. So what's the next one?
The next one in Chinese is 话不多说，我们先来抽波奖. So in English, it means time to stop chatting. Let's first have a lucky draw.
I think this one's really common.
I hear it a lot from Viya's live streaming. The first sentence, let's stop chatting, is usually it can show that the live stream is very straightforward, and then they usually say it in a very confirmed and sturdy form. So the first sentence is preparing for the second sentence to excite the audience, to let them know that they're gonna have a lucky draw, and this is the moment that the audience are waiting for in a live streaming.
From what I understand, it's like important that they have that first like time to stop chatting. Like it kind of catches everybody's attention, and they're like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Like, why do we need to stop chatting? You know, like what's going on? It's like like you said, it's like a serious tone, and it's like, okay, let's have a lucky draw. You know, it's like it's the exciting thing afterwards. So it kind of like grabs everybody, because if you just said like, okay, let's have a lucky draw, you know, it's not as attention grabbing that way. If you're like, okay, let's stop talking now. Let's like everybody pay attention. You know, we're about to do something exciting. So it kind of sets like you said, sets the tone for the lucky draw. And gets people more excited for it. Yeah, I mean, I think that lucky draws are a pretty common tactic in e-commerce live streaming. To like, I see a lot of times they do a lucky draw at the beginning of the live stream, and then they do a couple of them throughout the live stream, and then usually have one like at the end of the live stream as well.
They usually ask audience to type 1 or 2 on the screen in the comment dome, and then they will count down 3, 2, 1 and screenshot. And so whoever is in the screenshot will get the lucky draw. And this is how they usually do it, how they usually work.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that's like still how they do it. Like, you'd think that by now maybe one of the platforms would have like some kind of function or feature that could like randomly choose someone. I think it's funny sometimes that they still use like the old school method of like,
I know,
sending the comment and then we screenshot it, and then they always like, they grab their phone and they like show it to the other phone, and then they're like, show the top, and then they're like, and then usually they're like, tell them to get in touch with customer service, and
maybe it will encourage more interaction, like.
Yeah, that's probably because everybody has to send a comment, like you said, like send 1 or 2 or something like that in the comments section. So that gets people engaging more, which probably boosts their like ranking on the page or something. Because all the comments show that the stream has a lot of engagement. So it's probably why they do it that way.
Yeah.
The next one I think is kind of funny. Like, it makes sense, but it's kind of funny. Do you want to share the next one?
Yeah. So the next one is 喜欢谁谁谁，请多关注我的直播间. So in English, it means if you like the streamer's name, please follow me.
Right. So if it was me that was live streaming, like, if, for example, if I use this phrase in my podcast, I'd be like, if you like Lauren's podcast, please follow it.
It sounds so weird.
It does sound really weird. So it's essentially, it's the streamer refers to themselves in the third person. So like Austin Li would be like, if you like Austin, please follow me. Like they refer to themselves in the third person, instead of saying like, if you like me, or if you like my stream, please follow me. So why is it that they choose to say their name instead of saying just like, if you like me?
So they say their name is to attract their audience or their followers' attention. And then by keep repeating their name, it is not only just a name anymore. It is kind of become a brand. So Austin in his live streaming, he usually says, because Austin, his Chinese name is Li Jiaqi, and he often says 佳琪推荐你这个 in English it means Austin or 佳琪 recommends you these products, or he will say 佳琪觉得这个产品做得不行. So in English it means that Austin or 佳琪 doesn't feel like the product is in good quality, and he just keep repeating his name.
But like you said, it almost turns their name into a brand. Like it's repeating over and over again what their name is, so that especially if you're new to the stream, you remember, you know, who the streamer is, and you remember their name. Because if you think about it, if they're like you know, I recommend this product, I don't think this product's good, like that's not going to help you remember their name, and remember who they are. So as weird as it is, it's
is weird.
It's from a branding perspective, it makes sense, but it is kind of funny, like how they refer to themselves in the third person. Okay, so and then the last one in this category, do you want to share that one?
Yeah, the next one in Chinese is 这个上链接, and then in English it means put out a link for this item.
So I think this one, from what I understand, it has kind of two meanings. Like there's the original meaning, which is a very straightforward meaning, but then there's also another meaning. So can you explain?
Yeah. So the original meaning is just audience, they can't wait to buy this product, so they ask the live streamer to put a link for this product so that they can buy it. It can be used to show that the audience love these products. So for example, like a recent live streaming, so a museum in Suzhou did a live streaming showing around audience what items they have in the museum. And when it came to Asian apparel, one audience suddenly put a comment that put a link for this item. It's just joking around this situation. It just means that the audience love this item and they want to buy it. So it can also be used to show that they favor certain products, they love certain product.
And like you said with the museum, it's like now people even use this phrase for things that they can't buy, like things that aren't for sale. They'll still say, put up a link for this item, and that just means like I really like it, like I wish I could buy it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of turned into a phrase for just like I like it, I really like it, which is kind of funny. I feel like as a streamer, I'd be like, so do you want to buy it, or are you just saying you like it? Like, I feel like I wouldn't know which one they actually meant. Okay, so the next category of phrases are phrases that are used to describe products. So now we've already warmed everybody up and we're starting to talk about some products. So what's the first one in this category?
新朋友 or 老朋友, which means new friend or old friend.
Right. And here they're not talking about people or friends at all. What are they talking about?
Yeah. So they are talking about brands or products. Because usually, for top live streamers, they will work with the same brand like for many times. And if the brand or product they comes to their live streaming again, they will refer to them as old friend. They have been introduced before. They have been recommended before. And when live streamers are talking old friends, they usually mention it briefly, very briefly. And then new friend, it means that the new products or new brand that never shows up in their live streaming before. And so it is the first time to introduce them. They will introduce new brands in very great detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that, I think that's a good point, is they kind of, by saying, this is an old friend, it's kind of saying, if you watch my stream a lot, then you know that we've already talked about this brand a lot, or like I've already introduced this brand and why I like them so much. So maybe they're gonna spend a little bit less time to introduce the brand because they've already introduced it probably like several times. And I think that this also kind of gives people like a little bit of trust. They're like, oh, you've talked about it, like you've had this product before, or you've had something from this brand before. Like it's an old friend. Like, we know we can like and trust this. Like it's good product. We have it on all the time, So it kind of like lets people know that. And then, like you said, if it's new friend, then, people might be like, oh, something new, like something, a brand that we've never heard of before. And then they might kind of maybe listen more to find out what it is. So I think that's kind of, how they use the phrases.
Just, to get audience attention. For new brands.
I really like the next one. So let's share the next one.
Okay, the next one is 等你有钱了再买. So in English, it means once you have money, you can buy it.
Yeah. So I think this one's really funny because I think they said it's Austin Li who says this a lot. Like for example, if they're selling something that's more expensive, and their audience is like, oh, this is too expensive for me, like I can't afford this right now, and they're, and they don't want the audience to leave, that they say this phrase, because it's like they're saying, why don't you listen to what I'm saying right now? Why don't you pay attention to everything that I'm sharing right now? And then once you can afford it, like once you have money, then you can buy the product. Like learn about it now, stay in my stream now, and then later on you can buy it.
Yeah. And it is to show audience that they are not wasting their time to listen to a product that they cannot afford now. They can always buy it later. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it is very smart, a smart one.
Yeah, I think, that's a great point. It's like, you're not wasting your time right now if you listen to and the funny thing is that people might say, oh, I can't afford this, but then after they listen to them, then maybe they'll end up buying it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if they don't, then they're still learning about that brand, learning about that product. And like he said, like maybe you'll buy it later once you have the money. So, at least you're listening, which is still good for the brand, right? So yeah, it's just like, how do we keep people still listening, still engaged, even if they feel like it's out of their price range. So I love this one. I think that's a great one. Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is 刘雯穿了也不好看. So in English, it means even Liu Wen can't make this look good.
Yeah. So this one actually like a negative, like it's actually describing let's say a piece of clothing that actually doesn't look good. So could you explain what this one means?
Yeah. So I have to explain Liu Wen first. So Liu Wen is a supermodel, and she has like very, very good reputation in China. Like whatever she wears, she always looks good in them because her appearance, her body, like everything is so perfect on her.
Yeah, like she could wear like a plain white t-shirt and still look good.
Yeah, she can handle everything, literally. And then when the live streamer said, even Liu Wen can't make this look good, it means that the live streamer really, really don't like these products, or really don't think this product is good. And this will make audience feel that the live streamer is being honest. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, it's like, even Liu Wen can't make this look good. Like, this is just too ugly or too horrible. Like, the quality is just not good. Like, don't even, like, if she can't make it look good, you definitely can't make it look good. Yeah. So, and I think this can kind of be adjusted, like if it's, you could also just kind of change the verb if you want to have this be like talking about makeup, or, like you could just change it slightly to, to be used for other types of products as well. But I think it's an important point that streamers can't always talk about positive stuff, I think they need to say some of the negative sides or not so good things about products, in order to, like you said, to build trust. Because if you're always saying that things are really good, then I feel like people aren't going to believe you. It's like too good to be true. And I think maybe everybody has heard about this lately because of Austin Li and the lipstick. You shared that case study, that story with me. Could you share that story?
Yeah. So Hermes, they have a collection of lipstick, but like in China, we still cannot buy it in China, but we can buy it from abroad or from Daigou. So Austin, he wants to try the colors for his followers. So he bought I think it's 40 lipstick of the total collection. So he tagged it in his live streaming, and the outcome is totally surprise everyone, because he says these lipstick colors was created 5 years ago. They are so old, and they are definitely not suitable for Asian girls. So among 40 lipstick colors, he only recommend 2 colors for audience, which is very rare in his live streaming. And when he was testing the color, he kept rolling his eyes, or showing some despite look in his live streaming. So it surprised.
Yeah.
It kind of it makes people feel like, wow, he is really being very honest about the product.
I think he's really the first person that I know of that has said anything negative. I mean, the hype was so big when they announced that they were gonna have lipstick, because I think they were one of, we've seen so many of the big fashion brands come out with lipsticks, and everybody always, says oh, this is the Hermes of lipsticks, and then Hermes actually came out with their own lipstick, and so everybody was like, well, their bags are so incredible, this lipstick must be amazing, and people, I mean, I've seen the videos of people just it looks like Black Friday. They're jumping over each other, sliding under the doors, trying to get into the shops, to get their hands on these lipsticks. And so everybody's been, making such a big hype about it. And then to have him come out and like you said, if you look at the screenshots, his face was just oh my God, this is horrible. And he was he's not the kind of person to hold back his feelings. He was just he's very brutal when he doesn't like something. I think you said, he also said one of these was made for your mom or something. The color is good for a mom to wear.
True. So true. And while he is doing this live streaming, his assistant keep fixing this situation up, his assistant doesn't want this situation to get that bad, and when Austin said, this is not good, this is bad, his assistant would say, but actually blah 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 blah, and then but Austin Li will fight it back, saying, no, this is definitely not good.
Oh my God, that's so funny, because I think his assistant was trying to make it better, but probably actually made it worse, because if he hadn't said anything, then Austin maybe would have just moved to the next one. But if he was no, it's actually good, and then Austin's no, it's really bad. It probably got even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the third and last category. So the third category is selling products, like phrases that are used to convince audience members to buy products or to help them buy products. So I mean, I think the first one's really easy. It's just 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So it's 你拍一. That means like put number X in your cart.
Oh,
so
we skipped one. There's the first one.
Oh yeah, the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So this one's pretty easy, easy to understand. Is 3, 2, 1, which is just like. It's like counting down to when you can start buying the product. So it's just like, it's just, I think that's pretty, like, I don't think we need to spend too much time on this one. It's pretty easy to, understand. It's like 3, 2, 1. Okay, start buying. Yeah. So I think that one's pretty easy. So what's the next one?
Yep. The next one in Chinese is 你拍一. So that's put number X in your cart. So it is like, so in a live streaming, when the live streamer wanted you to, like, if you want to buy these products, the live streamer will ask you to, click on the first link. So 拍 in the Taobao terms, it just means buy. I don't know why they use the Chinese word 拍 to, mean buy, to mean 买. But yeah, in Taobao, it just means, buy this product. So that's how, a live streamer will respond. When audience asks them how to buy these products, they will ask them, okay, click on the first link. 拍下第一个链接. Like this.
Yeah, it's like, because all the different products that they're showing, all, like, if you click into the shopping cart, or if you click, like, the shopping icon or the shopping bag icon, and then you can see all of the products that the streamer is talking about, and maybe you are like scrolling through and you can't find which one they're talking about, or like you're unsure which one they're talking about. So they tell you like whatever number it is that they're talking about, so that like you can easily find it and put it in your shopping cart. Okay. What about the next one?
The next one in Chinese is 踢人. So that means kick people out. It refers to the situation that when audience, they successfully add this product or items into their shopping cart, but they haven't made the payment yet. They haven't paid for this yet. But this is not good for the owner or the live streamer, because in this case, other people won't be able to get the products because they were held by someone else. And like in this situation, the owner can only kick these people out to like make the space for other people. But this doesn't happen a lot, because in the live streaming room, if you can successfully add something into your shopping cart, then you are already ahead of most of the people. So they will usually make the payment very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think like this one's interesting, because when they say, like you said, when they say kick people out, it like it doesn't mean they're like kicking people out of the stream. It's just kind of, like you said, especially, I think probably the only time that this is used is if it's like a really limited inventory and it's like a really popular product, and if somebody puts it in their cart and then it's just kind of, they're just kind of holding on to it and they're not actually buying it, then that means, like you said, all of the other people who might want it can't get it. And especially if it's like a really expensive item, a really popular item, like that's just gonna hurt the brand, because maybe that person's just gonna delete it out of their cart later. Like they're just maybe they just grabbed it because because like you said, there's a lot of products that as soon as they go for sale, you have to grab it really quickly if you want to be able to buy it. from the stream.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm sure that there's times where somebody doesn't actually know if they want to buy it or not. They're like, but they just grab it anyway. And then maybe they don't buy it right away. And so then the streamer might use this phrase to be like, okay, everybody that is holding on to the product right now and it's in their cart and they haven't actually bought it yet, like we're going to kick all those people out, like kind of like release it from their cart and then give other people a chance to try and buy this product.
Yeah. That's the situation.
Yeah, like you said, I haven't heard this one too much, but I could see where it might be used. So the next one I think is pretty funny as well. I like this one a lot. Can you explain the next one?
Yes. In Chinese it's 买一个送一个送一个再送一个. So in English it means buy one get one free and another one free and another one. Yeah, it keeps going.
I could tell when you were saying the Chinese that you were trying to think like, how many times have I said this?
Yeah.
But I think can you share, like, so essentially really what this means is buy one get 3 free, or get like 3 samples or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like buy one and get all of these. So why don't they just say buy one get 3 free? Like why don't they just say that? Why do they say buy one and then get this free and get this free and get this free? Like why do they say it that way?
Because they are so sweet. They want to like create surprise for audience. So to excite the audience, that to make them feel if they don't buy this product now, they will miss a lot of things. They're gonna miss great bonus. So to just to kind of encourage them to make this purchasing decisions.
I think it's more of a surprise too, you know, because like they said, they're like, so you buy one of these and you get this free. And then you get this free, and then you get this free. Like, it's like you're excited because you're like, oh, buy one and get this free. And then they're like, but there's more. You also get this free, and you also get this free. So it's like, instead of, because if you just straight up say like, buy one, get 3 free, it's like, it's shared the surprise. It's shared the secret. Like there isn't a secret. But then if you say it like this, it's like, get another one and another one and another one. It's like, I think it makes it a little bit more exciting. And like you said, it's like, oh my God, this is so much free stuff. Like I can't pass this up. Like too much free stuff. Like you feel like you have to buy it.
And audience will keep thinking that, wait, there is another one and another one. Like, oh my God, I definitely need to get this. Like this kind of feeling.
Yeah, I think it's probably really, especially with live streams, this is like super popular to buy one, get one free of like the same thing, or to buy one and then to get a bunch of like samples, or, you know, I think there's always some kind of special deal in a live stream to encourage people to, you know, or it's like if there's like a special set of products that includes like, I don't know, some extra samples or something. I don't know. They always have some kind of special deal
in live streaming.
Yeah. What about the next one?
The next one is 错过再等1个月. So in English, it means that if you miss it this time, you will have to wait another month. So this is the term that used to used in like TV shopping program in 80s or 90s, but now it is applied in the live streaming. So because usually a brand, especially for top live streamer, a brand usually like work with a live streamer once a month, and if they want to work with the live streamer another time, they need to wait for the schedule of the live streamer. So it usually will come to the next month. And then this term is also used to kind of push audience to buy this product, because if they miss it, they really, really need to wait for another month for such good discount, such good bonus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is like, because people might be like, oh, you need to wait another month. Like, because a lot of the products that streamers talk about, you can actually buy the product like anytime unless it's like a limited edition or like a special set or something like that. But like what you just said, it's you might have to wait another month to get this really good price. Like you could go buy it somewhere else in the meantime, but like if you don't buy it today, you're not going to get it for this super low price, or you're not going to get this special bonus or something like that. Like that's kind of the key thing there is like that they have some special deal that like really makes people want to only buy it in their stream. What about the next one?
The next one is 加库存, which means add inventory. So like the amount of products in the live streaming is usually limited. That's why the people needs to grab products very quickly once they start selling. And so like if the amount those products are sold out, live streamer will usually say, okay, let's add inventory. This will make audience who is not able to grab the products to make the payment, and then also let other potential customers who are still thinking that whether I'm going to buy this product or not to make the payment, because they will feel like, wow, this product is out of stock now, it's very popular, I must get it. This kind of feeling to drag them to buy this product. So, I think somebody who's like really famous for this is also Austin. How he will sell out, like he'll have a limited inventory and then he'll sell out all of that. And then what he's really famous for is like he kind of puts on an act and he pretends to call somebody from the brand, or like gets his assistant or somebody to call somebody from the brand and be like, oh, it's just like, it's so popular. Can we get more of them? Like, can we add more to our inventory? And it's like, it's totally an act. It's already completely decided ahead of time. Like you can't just magically put more items in the inventory. You know what I mean? Like it's just like they plan it all out ahead of time. But he makes it look like he's like, oh my God, everybody just wants the product so much. Like, do you think you could send over like 200 more? You know? Yeah, he is a really good selling person.
Yeah. And I think even if people know that that it's fake, like they still get into it though, because I feel like people have to know by now that it's not real, but I don't know, they still fall for it. Okay, and what about the last one?
Yeah, the last one is 主播身上的衣服是几号? So in English it means which number is the item the streamer is wearing right now.
Yeah, and I think this is a little bit related to the other phrase that we talked about before, like when the streamer says, put number 2 in your cart or put number 3 in your cart. Like, when they say number, they're trying to ask like, I like the dress that you're wearing, which number is it? I think this phrase is probably, out of like all these phrases, is one of the most commonly used phrase out of all of them.
It's just to show that they love these products. They want to know where can they get it. It's very common live streaming.
Yeah, this one's like super, super common. Just like, which number, like what's the number of the product you're wearing right now? Like, I want to buy it. So I think that one's pretty straightforward. Awesome. Well, that was a lot of phrases, but I think they're all super interesting. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing that with everybody.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Happy to share that.
Hi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that interview with today's guest. You can find links to their contact info and detailed show notes for this episode on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com. If you liked this episode and know somebody else who might like it too, don't forget to share. Thanks, and talk to you next week.